Hey guys, what's up? This is Matthew Davis Media once again, and welcome back to another collection video. It has been almost a year, probably over a year since I've done my last collection video. I deeply apologize, it's been so long, but I made a poll a few days ago on what people would want to see me do a collection video on. And I put 4 options, and most of you guys requested a Nintendo Switch collection. So that's what I'm going to be doing for you guys today. But since like I said, I got the job now, and because I've been working so much, and of course, those dogs that are downstairs, I never get that much time because of the dogs and work and stuff like that, and I have movies to see so I can review them for you guys. It's just been really crazy, but I want to do another collection video, so that's what I'm going to be doing for you guys today. And it's going to be on my Nintendo Switch collection, so let's get to it. Before I get into it, of course, here are the games right here that I do not have physical copies of, but I do have downloaded. These are all the games I have downloaded, I don't have physical copies of. But, without further ado, let's get to the physical copies, of course. Okay, first things first, I got this recently on my birthday, actually, last month, and that is Dark Souls Remastered for the Nintendo Switch. Dark Souls, what can I say? And honestly, I already had this game for the Xbox 360, but because, I don't really use the Xbox 360 that much anymore, and Dark Souls is on the Nintendo Switch now, and I heard it's a pretty good port. It looks really well on Nintendo Switch. It runs pretty well. Graphics aren't perfect, but for what they are, they do look pretty good in handheld mode, though. But, what can I say about Dark Souls? If you guys were to play Dark Souls, I highly recommend playing it on the TV and not really on handheld mode that much, because it's just going to make you want to break your console. It is punishing, it is tough, it is going to kick your ass so many times. Like, prepare to die a lot. That's the phrase of this, because, the game is so hard. For PC, they have the Prepare to Die edition, because From Software knows how to make hard games. Because there's the Dark Souls trilogy, there's Demon Souls, there's Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, but, all in all, they're still amazing games, and these are the games that I just don't want to give up on. I'm probably never going to beat them, but, it's great just to try. Because, they're totally worth it. I've beaten 3 bosses in Bloodborne. I'm working on my 4th one. I already beat 2 bosses that are actually pretty easy, but, there are some easy parts. I recommend, if you're going to get into the Soul series, definitely go online and look at what other people's tips are. Then maybe you might have a chance at getting past the first game or any other game from Software. Alright, and next up I have another port, and this is actually my first time playing this is in my first copy of this, Diablo 3 Eternal Collection. This game surprisingly runs really, really well on Nintendo Switch, both handheld and in TV mode. When this game first was released, it had so many problems, but over time, Blizzard patched the game up a lot and added some DLC, which made the game a lot bit more lengthier and a lot more fun, and this is a surprisingly great port. I never played any of the ports on the consoles or PC. In fact, I never played a Diablo game until I played this, but I really want to play the other Diablo games. It's just, they're not on Steam right now. They're only for PC, and it's going to be really hard to find, a version of the game that actually works. I can't get a physical copy because it's not going to work on my new PC that I've had for like almost 2 years. I tried it with other, but for right now I have this, and it's a great game. In my opinion, I think this is a great game. I don't really care for the characters that much. The dialogue is a little cheesy. The game is a little too easy. And the lowest easy mode is normal mode. Even on normal mode, it feels like easy. Hell, I feel like The Last of Us's easy mode is harder than the normal mode in this. But it has all the DLC, and if you're looking for a good port of this, you can play online with friends. I do have Nintendo Switch Online. Haven't tried it out for any games yet. I'm not really gonna have that much hope for it, but Diablo 3, it's a pretty fun game. And we get to another port, The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, just like Dark Souls. I had this on the Xbox 360, but when I got this game, it was a really old copy, one of the newer copies when the game was first released. It doesn't run very well. It starts to slow down a lot, probably because I got it used in 2016, and my Xbox 360 doesn't run perfectly well anymore because it's pretty old. Power Brick isn't working well, so why not get it for the Switch? It does crash like a few times, but I've still been making progress in this. I still have a great time with this. I mean, you can get Breath of the Wild suit and armor and sword and shield, which is pretty cool. But if you want to get without an amiibo, you have to like climb the mountain that you can't get to yet. But I'm really trying that because I don't want to open any of my amiibo boxes. But it's Skyrim. It's one of the most addictive games that isn't online of all time. And it's also available for Xbox One and PS4 and PC if you haven't played it. If you have a Switch, definitely pick this one up. It's $60 right now. You can get like the PS4 version or for like a little bit cheaper. But it's a great game. It's a must-own. All right, finally something that isn't a port and is actually one of the most recent releases of Fire Emblem Three Houses. I love this game. It's one of my favorite games of the year. I don't really need to say much. If you want to hear my full thoughts on it, check out my review for the game. But like I said, I love this game. I actually started a second playthrough of this, but I'm not really having that much time with right now because, like I said, but I got through my first playthrough pretty quickly for like 60 hours. It felt like it went by pretty fast. That's how well paced this game is. Some people might not agree. Some people say it's kind of like Fire Emblem meets Persona 5 a little bit. And I could definitely see where they're going with that, not just because, Sothis, your companion that only you can see, is voiced by the same actress that played Morgana from Persona 5. But, this is an awesome game. I love it, and it's one of my favorite games on the Switch. And check that out if you haven't seen my top 10 best Nintendo Switch games list. Oh boy, we're getting into the gold now. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You have to own this if you have a Switch. I actually do have quite a bit of friends that don't really have this game. I'm kind of shocked, actually. Because even though, if you're not a Legend of Zelda fan, I still highly recommend playing this one. Because, not just because it's different from any other Zelda game, not because it's just fully open world, and the combat's different, and, it doesn't really have much of the items like they do in other Zelda games, but this is just the experience you have to witness. It's the best looking Zelda game in my opinion. I wouldn't say it has the best story, but I like the story actually, believe it or not. I love the characters, gameplay. It's an absolutely amazing experience. People can say that this game is overrated. People can say that it wasn't worth the wait. But in my opinion, it's still my pick for best game of 2017. I cannot wait for Breath of the Wild 2. I want to see more because, I'm really curious now since they released that trailer. I love this game so much, and I'm probably never, ever going to stop praising it. I already got this hat. I already got a t-shirt. Got Breath of the Wild, Link plush over there. I'm too lazy to get up and show. But you have to get this. You cannot have a Nintendo Switch collection without this. But, there are a lot of other games for Nintendo Switch that people might enjoy more. But, this will always be my pick. This is probably always going to be my pick for best Zelda game. Or, no, not best Zelda game. Best Nintendo Switch game of all time. And this came out when the Nintendo Switch launched. So, that's really saying something. Of course, the other recent release, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I also thought this game was great. I thought it was also has some really unique graphics and gameplay. I never played the original game, but for a Nintendo Switch remake, I am curious about the original game now. But I thought this game was great. Although I think there's going to be a lot of people to criticize this game, probably because for its length and how it's a little too shot for shot. It's probably the Skyward Sword of the series, because Skyward Sword didn't really get that much praise from fans. Definitely from critics, but not really from fans. As a Legend of Zelda fan, I love Skyward Sword. Hell, I even like that more than Twilight Princess. Yeah, fight me. I said it. But, I still think this is definitely worth owning if you're a Legend of Zelda fan. There are a lot of Wii U Switch ports, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of them. If you missed out on the Wii U and you really wanted to play this game but you didn't feel like owning a Wii U but you have a Switch, pick this one up. Do I really have to say more? It has all the DLCs. It has, including new characters, well, new-ish. I mean, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, Link. It might as well just be called Nintendo Kart, but you know what? Who really cares? It's still Mario Kart. I'm not really into racing games that much. I mean, I played Forza Horizon 4, and I thought that was a great game. I want to play more of the Forza games, like Forza Horizon 3, but this is probably my favorite racing game of all time, and I'm not really into racers that much. Okay, I literally picked this up last week, the Resident Evil Origins collection, which includes both the HD remasters of the first, or Resident Evil remake, and Resident Evil 0. I do have a complaint about this, and that is that both games aren't on the cartridge, just Resident Evil 0. The first game has a digital code to download the first game. I don't really understand why they did that. Why couldn't both games be on the cartridge? I'm not sure if they did the same thing with the PS4 and Xbox One versions, but I find that completely ridiculous. When I downloaded it, it almost took away half of my Nintendo Switch space. So it's going to cost me more SD cards just to store it, but that's okay. When I beat the game, I'm probably just gonna leave it like in the cloud, probably archive it, then get on to Resident Evil 0. But I find that ridiculous. But all that aside, the game looks great on the Nintendo Switch. I just wish both games could have been on the cartridge. I'm not sure if that would save space. That probably didn't make any sense, but if I were to play these games, probably for the Switch, it runs really well. The controls are absolutely precise, and I'm having a fun time with it. Alright, best known for its multiplayer, Splatoon 2. Once again, it's more like Splatoon 1.5, but it has some new weapons and new clothes and stuff like that, so it is Splatoon 2, but there definitely are the same maps from the original game. Well, look, if you missed out on the first game, play the sequel. It's basically kind of more like a remaster of the first game, but it's still a lot of fun. It still has the addictive gameplay, still worth playing for hours and hours and hours with friends. I could say this is one of the most creative shooters of all time outside of the Portal series, as it's very colorful, it's very messy, and honestly, I feel like this game is less for kids and more for, I don't know, people my age, because I have fun with these games. Because they don't really feel like kids games, even though you play as kids. I mean, I've seen some kids who don't really like this game, but I've seen some teens that really do, and I, for one, really enjoy them. I haven't played that many fighting games except for like Mortal Kombat 11 and the Super Smash Bros. Series, which we're going to get into in a little bit, but I did pick up the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, which includes all the Street Fighter 2s and other Street Fighters, like the PlayStation games, multiple remasters, and stuff like that. But, I'm having a fun time with this. Although I will say, single-player modes are definitely really challenging. Like, there are some times where I couldn't get used to the controls that much, but, I'm still learning. I'm still having a fun time. I mean, the first Street Fighter game really did not age well, and for the Nintendo Switch, Yeah, it doesn't look very well, but I will say Street Fighter 2 hyper fighting is, in my opinion, the best one in the series so far. I also love Turbo, even though the games are pretty much the same. That's why, I'm not really that much into fighting games, but, I do try my best to get into more fighting games. But, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, it's pretty fun. Another release that came out this year, Super Mario Maker 2. Slightly better than the first game, in my opinion, because there's a lot more levels, there's a story mode. They added Super Mario 3D World stages, which is pretty cool, even though the games are still just side scroller. But it offers hours upon hours of content that people are creating, and if you suck at creating, you can play their levels. I'm not sure if you could play online with friends. I mean, you can definitely play them from home because 4-player. But this is a fun game, and if you love the first game, if you thought Nintendo did a great job with the first game, you'll probably agree the same with this game. Some people are mad about some certain things that I don't really want to talk about, but I think Super Mario Maker 2 is definitely worth it. Of course, 2017 was a great year for games, and one of those, of course, besides Breath of the Wild, being Super Mario Odyssey. Definitely my favorite 3D Mario game outside of Super Mario 64. This is a love letter to the people who grew up with Super Mario 64 and other 3D Mario games. And after the single player mode, I spent more time after beating the single player, because there are so many moons to collect. There is so many costumes to purchase and unlock, and Cappy, with the use of Cappy, it makes me not miss the 1-ups and fire flowers and mushrooms that much, because Cappy, you can literally morph into almost every living creature, even the enemies. So I really hope we get a sequel to this. Just like I really hope this starts getting into a franchise, just like the Mario Galaxy games. Hopefully, it could be just like those. But I could say Nintendo was kind of running out of Mario ideas, so I think this is definitely their most creative idea for a Mario game, and I have so much fun with this game. Alright, starting to wrap things up. Of course, I have to have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Why would I not have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? They're still adding so many DLC characters. I haven't played Banjo or Kazooie yet, but it's pretty cool that they added Sans costume, which was really nice. I mean, it's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you don't have Breath of the Wild, then at least buy this, because Breath of the Wild Link is in the game, but it's Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like, literally almost every Switch owner has to have this game. Do I really need to say any more? No, I don't. Alright, closing things off with last but not least, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I cannot wait for the definitive edition of the first game to come out next year. I like this game. Some people may criticize it, but I thought this was a damn good game. It's definitely not a perfect game. I like the characters. The story is on the other side, but I spent 75 hours trying to beat the game. I did beat the game, although I spent so many hours trying to figure out what to do in certain side quests, but I needed certain abilities for these characters that hold your weapons for you. They needed certain abilities. I had to start farming for their abilities. It got a little annoying and got a little confusing, but I managed to beat the story mode, and I had a pretty fun time with it. So yeah. And that is it. That is my Nintendo Switch collection so far. Sorry that it's not as big as you were hoping for it to be. That's why I only showed 3 titles in the thumbnail. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be collecting more, because this is definitely not enough. I really need more. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I saw Gemini Man today. Probably gonna have a review for that tomorrow. Probably gonna have to review it before Monday, because I'm gonna be busy all week that week. But it's great to have the weekend off. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.